You'll be sorry, yelled Beatrice Smith as the building security team carried her away onto the elevator. But Fred just smiled and shook his head, watching the spectacle with a combination of sadness and delight as he had his now estranged wife physically ejected from the building. She'd tried to get back in, but after it had been revealed just how terribly she had acted toward their son, Jake, Fred could not allow her around the boy any longer. One thing he did know was that their divorce would be ugly. He was fighting for the boy. She was fighting for money and her material survival. But that was a problem for another day. Fred thanked his bodyguard, Max, who had handled Beatrice's removal, and went back into the kitchen. There, he found Denny, posing as his son Jake, standing over the stove on a step stool. Chef Julian stood behind the boy, his large hands covering Denny's small ones as they held the crepe pan together. "Look what Chef Julian taught me," said the child, gleefully, as he and Chef Julian together flipped the crepe up in the air and caught it again in the pan. "Wow, that's amazing!" Fred applauded his son and laughed. "I'm glad Chef is holding your hands. Might be a little dangerous to flip by yourself yet, okay?" "I'm going to flip them way up in the air someday," said Denny, excited, and also sure that his mother, Quinn, would never allow him to be flipping crepes with a hot pan. "I'm sure you will, buddy," answered Fred. "What was going on in the hall?" asked the boy. "Did I hear—" "Yes, son. Beatrice doesn't live here anymore. I've sent her away. You explained how mean she was being to you, and I believe you. She won't be allowed to do that to you ever again." Denny's mouth fell open. "Do you mean it?" His mind was racing. Beatrice being out of the picture meant that he and Jake could switch back, and Denny could go home to Quinn, his real mother. Jake could come back here and not have to worry about that mean lady anymore. "Sure, I mean it," confirmed Fred. "Nothing in this world is more important to me than you, Jake. Not one thing." Denny's eyes got a bit teary. He could tell that this man loved Jake a whole lot and decided that maybe it was time for the boys to switch back. He missed his mother. He missed Sammy and Nora, the nanny. And he even missed school. He didn't like having just one teacher and having classes at their house. He wanted to be in a place with lots of other kids, making new friends and learning new things together. "Now, have you thought of a place you'd like to go for a special trip?" asked Fred. "Dragon World," said Denny. Dragon World was a resort and amusement park that most children wanted to go to, with rides, shows, and a lot of entertainment that was all about dragons and fantasy. Fred laughed with delight. "Of course we can go. I'll call Lance and have him make the arrangements. And, of course, you picked Dragon World. Every kid loves that place. And hey, I was no different when I was your age." "Really?" asked Denny, trying to picture this man as a small child, traipsing around a park in one of its signature dragon coats. "Can I get a dragon coat?" "Any color you want, kiddo." "Thanks, Dad," said Denny. He really liked pretending to be this man's son, even if he knew Fred wasn't actually his dad. What a great dad Jake had. Across town, Quinn, Sammy, and Jake had finished their ice creams in the park and made their way back home for the evening. But much as Quinn loved having extra time with the children, she was feeling very anxious about her job. That CEO, Fred Smith, was one of the main donors to the hospital, and he certainly had it out for Quinn. It was ridiculous. Quinn closed her eyes for a moment, trying to shut out the frustration. "What's the matter, Mommy?" asked Sammy. "Nothing you need to worry about, sweetie," Quinn said, brushing her daughter's hair out of her eyes. Quinn couldn't tell the children just yet. She knew she had to get her job back first. She had struggled to put herself through medical school while raising two small babies. Then she worked as a neurosurgeon at one of England's top hospitals. It was this prestigious position she had left to return to the United States in search of the son who had been taken from her on the day he and her other 2 children were born. It had been a big upheaval for her kids, and she needed to keep things calm. Thankfully, just then, Nora appeared in the room and welcomed them back home. She could immediately tell that something wasn't right and came to Quinn's rescue. "Okay, you two," began Nora to the children. "Go upstairs and wash your hands, and then we can bake some cookies. Would you like that?" "Ah, yeah!" The 2 children sped up the stairs as fast as their little legs could carry them. Once the children were out of sight, Nora confronted Quinn. "I know you pretty well, you know," began Nora. Dodged Quinn. "Even when you were a little girl, you got that same look on your face and chewed your lip in that same way when something was bothering you." "What's going on?" asked the nanny with love in her voice. "Does this have anything to do with why you haven't been at your new job for a couple of days now?" Quinn exhaled, hung up her purse and her coat, and plopped down on the couch, covering her face with her hands. Nora did know her well. Nora wasn't just the children's nanny. She had also been Quinn's nanny years ago. After everything her family had been through, Quinn was thankful to have this kind, older woman, whom she loved very much, as an important part of the family. "Nora, it's hopeless," cried Quinn. "What do you mean?" asked Nora. "I'm suspended without pay." "No!" said Nora with disbelief. "How could that happen? You only just started the job. What will we do?"
Hi, Quinn here. And if you're wondering what happens next, click on the link in the description to listen to the full audio series. You can also watch the next episode here in the playlist.